What's up, guys? It's your boy Santos to Destroy, and I'm back at you with another video, part 3 of What If Naruto Had God of Destruction Energy. So, a quick recap of where we left off last time. Naruto had just defeated Neji in the Chunin exams, and although Gaara and Sasuke's match was underway, it was interrupted due to the feathers and the commencation of the Konoha Crush plan. So now we cut to Naruto basically pursuing Sasuke, who was in turn pursuing Gaara, headed to the forest due to the fact that Gaara's transformation did not go successfully as planned. They would have to follow, and Sasuke wants to just complete his fight. Now, as we get to the scene, Sasuke would still get bodied by Gaara like in canon, as he doesn't have any insane strength gains that would prevent him from doing so. And Naruto would get there just as Sasuke is about to die. He would just step in and prevent Sasuke from dying with his appearance. And at this point, Gaara would already be in his initially transformed state, like the sand's leaking out of him. He has a tail and his face is half transformed. He has like a claw already. Be in that state, and it's that point that Naruto has to fight Gaara on his own, even though he was initially scared to. Remember, like Naruto had an intense fear of Gaara because of his insane bloodlust, and now it's just dripping out of him, not literally, but his chakra is just oozing bloodlust. And now Naruto has to go up against that. No QB chakra as of right now, and just ninja tricks, tips and tricks. So at this point, Naruto's just dodging everything he can. Occasionally gets hit, and when he does, he just Hakai's it away. However, this time when Gaara uses the Sand Claw on Sakura, he just uses a Hakai blast to dissipate it. Since it is a chakra-based substance, ultimately there is chakra like holding the sand together. If the sand wouldn't just disintegrate on its own, it would just simply just drop to the floor, becoming useless as the chakra that's used to hold it in place would be destroyed. So Gar would have to be extremely careful fighting Naruto in close combat because he could literally just render all of Gar's sand at his immediate disposal useless, and he would have to reuse chakra to keep it moving. So as more and more chakra was drained, he'd be closer and closer to unleashing the Shukaku without him wanting to. So he'd have to he could get Naruto's more likely to take control over this fight, even though Naruto wouldn't know he's taking control over the fight. Only Gaara knows his own circumstances. So I believe at this point, Gaara will realize that he's fighting for time. He's fighting the clock. So I feel like he would transform into Shukaku, or at least a full body, not the perfect possession, but like a full body Sandar avatar sooner rather than later because he just has to overpower Naruto and just generate so much chakra that Naruto's limited control over the Hakai, his Hakai Kekkei Genkai, couldn't destroy all of it at once. However, I don't believe Gar would be able to just summon that much chakra without going perfect possession. And even if he were to capture Naruto in that little sand coffin or cocoon thing that he did in original canon, Naruto would have no difficulty getting out of it. However, Naruto would also be burning through a lot of his chakra, constantly having to destroy stuff and then also using shadow clones to attack, not only defend but he also needs to attack. So both of them are losing a lot more chakra than they were in the original canon. And you can start to see the effect on Naruto as he looks like visibly more tired. And then Gaara's just like jeering him on, saying, "Why are you so tired already?" But then Gaara knows he's getting tired and he's about to have to tag out and let Shukaku take a turn. So then he creates the giant sand avatar of Shukaku and basically just flips out a lot earlier when Naruto says back, "I may be tired, but look at you, you're barely standing." Then he flips out and then creates the giant Shukaku avatar. And now Naruto is really backed into a wall, and Naruto's just getting bodied by Shukaku. I mean, he's keeping this limited sand away from him, but it's decimating the landscape. So Naruto basically thinks to himself he has to summon Chief Toad, or else he very well might die. And due to his urgency and his lack of chakra, I do believe he would tap in unconsciously to the Nine Tails and would summon Chief Toad. He would summon Gamabunta. But now we have the fact, since Gaara's chakra is a lot more drained, he would tag out and let Shukaku. I believe he would let Shukaku in immediately rather than waiting a long time. So Gaara's playing Possum Jutsu is already in effect as soon as Gamabunta has been summoned, which would lead to a much more dangerous fight, as Shukaku had fewer qualms about actually killing Naruto than Gaara did. So the fight would be much fiercer than it was in canon because Shukaku would be using jutsus more. It was using jutsus earlier than he did in the original canon. So you have basically Chief Toad, Naruto versus Shukaku, not Gaara Shukaku, but just normal Shukaku. And at this point, I believe Shukaku would target Naruto's comrades, as Shukaku's kind of ruthless and is extremely, he's not arrogant, but he likes killing. There's just no other way to put it other than he likes to kill. So I believe he would target like Sasuke, Sakura, and them, and then Naruto would tell Chief Toad you have to block that. But I think he'd still do the Shukaku would fire three and Chief Toad would fire two. I don't think the blast would hit them. It would just hit the landscape near them, which would be more than enough for Naruto to just like absolutely just like get concerned, and he'd have a little thought go into his mind space, and then the Kyuubi's eyes would just open, and then he said, and then Naruto would start crying, and then Kurama would have this entire dialogue of what happened, Naruto. Were you not strong enough? Were you too weak? I can solve that. Just lift open the seal. But Naruto doesn't open the seal. Kurama says, "Oh, I'll just give you some of my chakra instead." So then now Naruto's covered in Kyuubi chakra. Not the one-tailed form, but he still has Kyuubi chakra. But he's also radiating a different aura. It's a purple aura of pure destruction and decimation. So now at this point, Chief Toad tells Naruto looks at Chief Toad and tells him, "Get me close." And they basically have the same exchange how Naruto has to transform Chief Toad into the Kyuubi basically. Kyuubi so we can get close. And they do just that. So now that Naruto is on top of Shukaku, Gaara tries to kill Naruto, or Shukaku does, since he's using the sound on his body, but Naruto is just walking through everything. Any sand that comes at him is instantly dissipated in a cloud of purple sparkles. Just the effects of the Hakai. Now as he walks closer and closer to Gaara, Shukaku starts getting more and more desperate, eventually turning most, if not all, of his central body into sand, and uses a rush sealing seals him in like a rush sand pyramid, attempts to slow him down. However, Naruto just walks right through it, places his hands on top of the sand pyramid, infuses some of his destruction chakra into it, and then just totally dissipates it, turning into a cloud of purple sparkles. Shukaku is shocked at this point and realizes that it will spread to his body if he doesn't like sever it. So he severs his arms in a sense, like severs his arms. Then he can just regrow them because of the sand. But he severs his arms, and Shukaku is looking at Naruto in astonishment and in fear. He's thinking to himself, this kid is putting up a legitimate fight against him, a tailed beast. What is this guy? And Gamabunta is just looking back in pure shock. Like, I really wish I could see this, but I'm at the end of my line here. Hope you can wrap this up, kid, before he desummons. Naruto looks back at Shukaku, with little Gaara sticking out of his forehead, and says, "Guess I'm on my own now." Now we get to see something that we haven't seen since until part two. Shukaku says, "All right, all bets are off. I have to do this right now." Shukaku readies a Biju bomb, and then with Naruto noticing the massive chakra that's forming around Shukaku's mouth, he forms all of his destruction chakra that he can muster at that moment into a giant purple sphere. And as soon as the Biju bomb fires, Shukaku immediately fires the second one, combining with the first to create a massive Biju bomb. And Shukaku's looking smug, saying, "That's it." And then at the same time, Naruto just launches his big ball of destruction energy, causing the Biju bomb to just disappear or be destroyed into a mass of purple sparkles. Now it's at this point where Naruto just charges, all the Shadow Clones charges, and basically, individually, one by one, begins to wear out Shukaku until Gaara is within reach because Shukaku tries to protect Gaara from waking up by coating him in sand, but just all the Narutos, all the clones just erode the sands and cause Gaara to be seen. And with that, Naruto gives him a nice punch, and Gaara wakes up, looks at Naruto. Naruto instantly depowers down because he's running extremely low on chakra. He has the punch again with Gaara, has the talk no jutsu, tells them about precious people, how they saved him from himself. And he tells Gaara, if you attack them, I won't hesitate to kill you before charging up a Hakai sphere. The third still dies, and next we have to go to the search for Tsunade. That's where I'm going to end it off, guys. If you liked it, share, subscribe, comment down below. I'm Asantos the Destroyer, and I am